from Officer John Legat of the St. Louis Police Department.
Let the church say amen. Amen. Let the church say amen. Amen. Hopefully the sound is going to work right for me. But to the families here today, there are no words that can express and take the pain away. There is nothing that we can do that can take the pain away. The only thing that I can tell you to do is to look to the hills from what's coming to your help. All your help comes from the Lord. That during these difficult days ahead, even in the past, the only thing I can do is tell you to stand. And after you've done all you can, just stand. Yeah. Well, amen. We're going to move right along. My mother always said that have a ram in the bush. Have your hymn ready. I'm going to give you his eyes on the sparrow. Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come?
clergy would also say, don't get me started. Watch out now. In the words of my father, Lou Father Times, he would say, don't pour no water on me, just let me burn. You know about that. Woo! Even if I wasn't a religious man, I'd be one after that. I just happen to be. I'm tired for it. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on with the program, and we want to note that from time to time we will be mentioning names of those that we see here this evening that are coming in. And we will be mentioning the distinguished guests and members of our audience as we go. But first, and in keeping on, we're going to now hear from a young man that you won't see his name in the program, but you've seen him in, around, and all around St. Louis throughout the years in many, many capacities. And I understand he has embarked upon a new one that we'll be hearing from in time to come. But here today, representing the great organization of 100 Black Men, please welcome Mr. Steve Harmon.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you very much for having me, First Lady. And to Jeanette Culpepper, she and I go way back 24 years ago. I was a St. Louis police officer. I was a homicide detective, and I investigated the homicide of our son. But today I'm here in another capacity. I'm here representing the 100 Black Men of Metropolitan St. Louis, where I have the pleasure of serving on the board of directors, and I'm chairperson of the mentoring division for the 100. And for those of you who do not know or who aren't familiar with the 100, I'll tell you a little bit about us and why it's important that our organization is here in St. Louis, and we remain in St. Louis, and our doors are always open to anyone in the community. The 100 Black Men of Metropolitan St. Louis was founded 33 years ago, and this will mark our 33rd year of existence in St. Louis. But the 100 Black Men of America was founded over 50 years ago, and we currently have over 100 chapters in North America, the Caribbean, Africa, and the United Kingdom. In St. Louis, we serve the community by mentoring and engaging our youth, following the philosophy, what they see is what they'll be. So we want our youth to see positive role models so that they will aspire to be positive young beings. Our tireless efforts to address core issues and focus on the well-being of the St. Louis community is needed more today than ever based on the existing state of our environment. As an organization, our 4 areas of focus are economic empowerment, education, health and wellness, and leadership, delivered through our core emphasis of mentoring across a lifetime. We strive to be a pinnacle in the community by leveraging the time, talents, and treasures of our dedicated members, civic leaders, corporate sponsors, and community partners. And your support helps our organization evaluate, develop, deliver, and support various programs with a focus on teaching our youth the value of self-worth and strengthening their mind, body, and soul. The men of the 100 pledge to serve as a beacon of leadership, strength, and hope by creating an environment where youth are motivated to achieve and people are empowered to succeed. And we at the 100, we stand in support and solidarity of the families and survivors of those who have lost loved ones to violence. The men of the 100, we are real men giving real time. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve Harmon, 100 Black Men. And now we will hear from the pastor of the Christ Church Cathedral, Reverend Mike Kennedy.
Good evening. As I've been sitting here listening, the scripture that has come to my heart is from Exodus 3. God speaks to Moses out of a burning bush. And God says to Moses, I have heard the cry of my people on account of their taskmasters. I have known their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them. It is a scripture about God's intimate knowledge and care for us. But particularly, God is found in those who are suffering the most, those who are oppressed the most. That God yearns not to sit on the throne, but to sit with the one in chains. That word know, that's the same word used in Genesis when we hear that Adam knew Eve, if you know what I mean. It is an intimate knowledge, but it is a knowledge of suffering. That is where God is. And if we want to go where God is, if we want to experience God, if we want to know God, then we need to go where the oppression is. We need to go where the suffering is, because that is where God is. We've said this evening that this is not about numbers, but numbers can tell us something. The things we heard, Bishop, you said that we are all in this together. And our mayor said that when one person dies tragically in the city, it is felt by all. I dearly wish that was true. I dearly wish that was true. We have been doing this for 24 years. And part of the reason we've been doing this for 24 years is even though we dearly wish this is true, it is not true. It is not true in this city that we believe that we are all in this together. It is not true in this city that when a child dies in North St. Louis, people in South St. Louis feel it.
My God.
It is not true.
Oh, God.
And this is for all of our salvation. Now look at the numbers that are here. The numbers of the 189. Black male 149. Black female 25. White male 11. White female 4. It is not my children who are doing the dying, and it is not my people who are doing the crying.
My God.
And that's got to change. The definition that Alcoholics Anonymous gives us of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We have been here 24 years. We have been saying the same things and they sound good. And the words of comfort are good. But something's got to change. Something has to change. And it means people like me who live south of Delmar have to realize that where God is north of Delmar.
My God.
And we need to reach across a Delmar divide that is like a Grand Canyon if you live south of it. And we need to, for our own salvation, create a city of St. Louis where we really are all in this together. And we need to do it by where we spend our time. And we need to do it by where we spend our money.
Say it again.
That's not all we have to do. Because there's another divide, and we see it by who is in this room and who is not. And it is a divide between the old, and I am getting into that place where I can call that myself, and the young. And the young have a voice that God is with. The young have a voice that is crying out. The young have a voice that is a voice of wisdom, that is not beyond their years, but because of their years. And the young are where God is, and they are not in places like this. They are out there. And we need to go out with them and not tell them to pull their pants up, but to say, tell me your story of suffering. Tell me your story of oppression. We need to realize that God is, even at this moment, anointing Moses out in the street for deliverance. And we need to get out there and say, how can we follow you? How can we equip you? How can we make your generation the one that is truly going to make all of us in this together? Amen. I'm here because my sister Elizabeth Watkins asked me to be here, and I will do anything that my sister Elizabeth Watkins asked me to do. Yeah, you heard that. 25 years ago this year, Elizabeth lost both of her sons within 6 months of each other. For 25 years, Elizabeth has been taking her pain, I heard the bell, and turning it into love. And every year it's got to get more frustrating. And every year it is up to us to get 1 year closer to never doing it again. Amen.
I was beginning to think that that bell wasn't from Alderman Moore. After listening to that great, great speech. That was a divine bell. A bell from above. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a pleasure to introduce this next young lady. Not to mention all the labor and all the work and all the sacrifices that she has made for this community, for this city, for this state, and for this country. Please welcome former Missouri State Representative, the great and honorable Sister Betty Thompson.
Lost their children. The same God that gave me the strength and courage to carry on, to stand up and let those other young people know that they're going wrong and traveling wrong. Those that's out there killing and destroying others and hurting lives and causing broken hearts among families. It's the same God that'll give you the strength, that gave me the strength 5 years ago. I want to say to my good friend Bishop Wooten and our First Lady Shirley Wooten, and to my good friend Jeanette Culpepper, who 25 years ago, who had an insight, who perhaps probably had a dream, to bring all of us together in love and peace and conflict. Where is it that anywhere you can go and find police officers, chief of police, community leaders, ministers, and just plain people, church people, all coming together in one room to talk about gun violence and to stop this violence? And believe me, it's got to stop. I think what people need now is more love. They need God. A lot of them are taking God out of their life. And you need God. Sometimes you might feel like you're on top of the world. But when you leave God out, the world will seem like it's on top of you. So what you have to do is stand up and be kind. This is a difficult time in my life because 5 years, my son been dead 10 years, 5 years now. But 10 years ago, Jeanette Culpepper, a good friend of mine, called and said, Betty, I want you to make remarks at my program on New Year's Eve. It was about mothers and fathers and all who had lost their children to murder. And I said to myself, what can I say? I've never lost a child. I can't say really how you feel. I don't know what it's all about. I don't know what to say. But 5 years later, I came back. And I was one of those parents who had lost their child to gun violence. And not only that, he was a police officer who believed in peace, who believed in nonviolence, who believed in working for the community. And I often tell people that say, we don't need police officers. We need everybody. We need our police officers more now than people can't leave their homes. Our young people can't go to school and it's not safe. Everything is happening. We need each other. The policemen need the community. The community need the policemen. The church need the preachers. The preachers need the community and their congregation. Community leaders, the politicians and all. And one time, if we all can stand up and be counted and work together in peace and love, that's what it's going to take. Because one of the things that we all must do, and I tell people in the words of Betty Thompson, you got to wake up, get up, sit up, stand up, pray up, and be up. And if all go out and vote up and protect our communities above all, and let's stop this gun violence and let's show up. Have a great day. Have a great day.
The Honorable Betty Thompson, former Missouri State Representative, always encouraging, always enlightening, always powerful, and always motivating. Give her another nice round of applause. We're going to slightly deviate from the program because of scheduling and time, and we will now hear from Ms. Kim Gardner. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome State Representative Kim Gardner.
First of all, good evening, good day, everybody. Good day.
Hey.
Almost Happy New Year. Once again, I'm State Representative Kimberly Gardner of the 77th District. First of all, I'd like to thank Bishop Booten for allowing us to be here. First Lady Booten for allowing us to be here. It's a blessing, and I thank you. I also want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. When I look around, I say we're in a crisis. We're in a crisis right now. With the violent crime taking place in our community, it's sad. It's disgusting, actually. It's disgusting that we think it's commonplace for our loved ones or someone we know to be killed, whether by unintended violence, at the hands of a gun, or any other types of violence. It's unacceptable. This is 2015. We're going into 2016. And we have to say no more. I want to hear you guys say no more.
No more.
Because we can sit up here, and I see very distinguished guests up here. You know, I thank you for allowing me to speak. I see media here. I see dignitaries here. I see clergy here. And we think we can say this rhetoric. We can say it. But guess what? The people who need to be listening to this are out on the streets, not in here. We can continue to have these meetings. We can continue to have these prayers. And I'm not saying it's not what we should not be doing. But we need to